Just be yourself. Don't try to be anyone else beside yourself. Whether that's working on yourself to be who you want to be, but be true to who you are for others to see because people don't buy into this fake persona. Like they see right through it.
Welcome to Outside is Magic, a podcast about the intersection of creativity and the outdoors. I'm your host, Christopher San Augustine, a creative director and founder of Broken Coastal, a studio rooted in storytelling, design, and community. Today's episode is with Kyle Emery Peck, photographer, writer, and longtime friend. We talk about BMX roots, carrying a Hasselblad on massive rides, the difference between film and digital, and the importance of being yourself through it all. Before we dive in, if you're enjoying these conversations, the best way you can support is to subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. It all really helps out. Okay, let's jump in. Thanks, Kyle, for jumping on. I wanted to start off with asking you about BMX because that's how we met, and I believe both our lives were heavily influenced by it and still are. So
Still
I'm just
are.
curious how did BMX first show up in your life?
Shit. I think I was in seventh grade and a few of my friends already had BMX bikes in middle school. And then I caught interest. I probably had some like shitty, huffy 24-inch mountain bike that I just, used to ride around because my brother and sister and parents wanted me to go ride. Didn't really take any interest in it. Played like basketball and soccer and baseball as a kid, karate and shit. But then my friends got into BMX and I kind of saw what they were doing and my mind was just like very intrigued, very curious. They had older brothers that all rode who were about 3 years older than us. And so they were all way better and bigger and stronger than us. So they didn't like us at first because, we're like little brothers, but they kind of took us in to their crew and showed us around and showed us what to ride and how to ride and the videos and the magazines. And that was pretty much it. After that, I was already hooked.
That's sick. Wait, did you grow up in Seattle?
No, I grew up in Marin in Kentfield.
Okay, nice. Was there a good scene out there?
I mean, for people wise, yes, but I mean, resources, no. There was nothing legal to ride at the time. No jumps, no skate parks that were legal. So we kind of created our own riding. We had a local community college, the College of Marin, with like an abandoned parking lot. And we like built this like dirt hip on the side of this abandoned building. And then later we concreted like a 5-foot quarter pipe at night. Like when the police were patrolling the parking lots, we would just dip out and hide in the bushes and then get back to concreting it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was pretty much it. We had Alameda Skate Park, but then like our parents would drive us there and we get tickets on a Saturday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. Is
Yeah, I
ridiculous.
remember that.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
BMXers helped build the park.
I know. That's crazy. Alameda, it was a gem though. That was the
It
BMX spot
was. It
for
was an
sure.
eye opener for me for sure. I loved it. It's worth the tickets.
Do you remember when you first started venturing outside of your kind of pocket, your neighborhood on the BMX? I feel like we all started to explore further and further on our BMX bikes.
I
Do you
think
remember
that's
when you pushed that?
kind of one of the reasons why I love BMX. It was a way to get out of my neighborhood and explore on
Yeah.
my own. At the time, my parents were pretty off leash. They didn't really mind me being out all day and not checking in at all. Of course, before the time of cell phones. And we would take the ferry from Larkspur into the city and start riding the city at seventh, eighth grade. It was just insane. There was no bike lanes at the time. We would get in the ferry building and ride up Market Street on the sidewalk all the way up to Civic Center because we were just terrified of getting run over by a car.
Yeah. That's wild. I remember having to use the payphones back in the day when I'd go into San Francisco and call my dad and let him know that I'm still alive. Definitely got in trouble a bunch for showing up late, but it's part of
It
it.
was always fun, like going to China Banks, hitting up Grant Street, shoulder tapping for cigarettes,
Yeah.
going to the library. It was so fun. Union Square. It's part of the reason why I still live in San Francisco today is because I'm enamored by it. I love it. I'm
Yeah.
romanticized by this place.
Yeah, for sure. And so at some point you did move to Seattle though, right?
Yeah, when I turned 18, I went to art school in the Seattle at Art Institute of Seattle for commercial
Nice.
photography.
Yeah, so that's when you got into, or at least took photography more seriously.
Definitely got into it through BMX. I started taking pictures of my friends grinding rails and stuff, hidden jump. In high school, we had a dark room and a really sweet teacher who's still there today. That really showed me the way about being creative with photography. really took an interest into that.
Yeah. And I think BMX teaches us a way to look at the world differently and through the lens. How do you approach photography through like a BMXer's eye?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I think it causes you to be looking at stuff a little bit different than everybody else and have a different set of eyes on things and how you can make it your vision, make it what you want, how you want others to see it.
Yeah. I have like two distinct memories of you lugging your Hasselblad around on super big rides that makes no sense. The first was in Ashland, and we were shuttling with Ivers, and I just happened to be in Ashland at the same time. And I
The
remember you
backside,
taking it out, yeah, the
yeah,
backside, and
yeah, yeah.
you took a picture of Ivers, I think, in his boots, or maybe it was of Cobb over that big triple. And then the other time was, did you bring it on that Lord of the Rings ride we did?
Lord of the Squirrels, yeah, I got a
Yeah,
picture of
Lord of
you
the
riding
Squirrels.
the rock slab. It was in the
Yeah.
magazine.
So what's up with that? I mean,
I
that's not
like the
normal.
way, yeah, at the time I was pretty stubborn. I'm not as stubborn about digital and film because I use both today, and I still actually have that same Hasselblad. I just shot a roll with it in Tahoe this weekend. They just last forever. I bought that camera in 2005 or so, and it's been 20 years, and I bought it used. It's from the 1960s. They're completely mechanical, so as long as you don't drop them, they'll keep going. I've had to buy a couple new lenses for it, but aside from that, yeah, same one. But I just kind of prefer the look of film sometimes, or a lot of the times. I think digital can be overly sharp, and you kind of have to tweak it to kind of make it look the way you want it to. And film
Yeah.
is much more organic, and it's already looks good to me straight out. Don't have to make
Yeah,
many adjustments with it.
for sure. But
I
why
think
drag
it's
around that big camera?
Yeah,
I'm just
it's
curious.
a nice one. It's kind of like my
Yeah.
BMX background. I knew I could get good photos with that, so that's what I brought. I preferred to take a medium format camera versus a 35 just because I like the quality a
Yeah.
little bit better.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. And for anyone,
I remember
go.
bringing it in for Lord of the Squirrels. I had that Mission Workshop backpack and it was like super narrow and like I had to like
Yeah.
stuff it in there. It took me minutes, to get it properly in there. And if I'd fallen on that thing, it would have smashed to bits.
Yeah. And for anyone listening, the Lord of the Squirrels is a massive backcountry ride in Whistler, like deep in the backcountry. And it was shoulder season. We got rained on. And we were
It's
pretty
heavily
cold.
rained on.
Did you get images? Some good images from that?
For
I can't
sure, yeah.
remember.
One of them ran in your zine of you riding
Shit.
down this rock slab.
We'll have to
I remember
share that
I
in the
remember being
podcast.
on a break. We were taking a little breather, and it was like the climb is called Into the Mystic, and we were just straight
Yeah,
up in a cloud. And I was
dude.
pretty cold. And we're like, oh, there's a rider coming up, and it was Johan Borelli with
Yeah.
no jacket on an e-bike, just didn't even stop. He's like, hey, and just kept going like full turbo. We're like, what is this guy on right now, dude?
Yeah.
Chill out a little bit, take a break.
Yeah, that was super cool. Yeah. That was probably one of my favorite trips ever.
That's one of my favorite rides. I think that's on the list when I go back in September if there's no snow still. Gonna go up there.
Yeah. Yeah. The last time I did it, it was nice. Good weather. We jumped in the lake, which was pretty
At the
sweet.
top?
Yeah, super
Damn.
cold. And yeah, it's funny just seeing the contrast of people that ride that trail now. Some people, we saw all these people up there, just some vans and like a little hip pack. And I go up there and I have a backpack because
Yeah.
in reality,
You
you're
never
pretty far
know.
away.
It's true
Yeah.
backcountry. I don't think people realize like it's actually backcountry and if something were to go wrong, you could get screwed.
Yeah. It's a long hike
However,
that.
there is a lot of traffic now, so you could probably be saved
Yeah.
by some case of an emergency. That is the only ride where I've brought in bear spray on a ride.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Bear spray is definitely essential.
They closed that trail down one year because there was a grizzly up there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's grizzlies up there all the time. I feel like on our ride, we saw a sign saying grizzlies had been spotted.
For sure.
Yeah. How has your approach to photography changed? You kind of touched upon it about transitioning into digital a little bit, but just curious.
Thing with digital is you have the freedom to shoot way more, so you can be safe and just rapid fire the hell out of that thing. Like my camera shoots 12 frames a second, no problem. I have a Canon R6, and it has face detection. Like yeah, like my Hasselblad is a manual focus. I just dial it in with the ring manually, and I usually have the rider or whatever I'm doing pre-focus, so everything is set up before they even enter the frame. But with my Canon, it automatically finds their face and locks onto it. And all I got to do is press the button and just kind of look at my framing and see how I'm doing with that composition wise. Pretty much you can just nail a photo right away. First, don't have
Yeah.
to ask the writer to keep trying it over and over again. You can get it first go. So with digital, it adds a little bit more flexibility in terms of the file size and the framing, and the autofocus is a little bit more reliable, of course. So it's just a different look, but it's a lot safer to shoot digital. You know, you got it right away. You can review the Hasselblad.
Yeah.
Just
With the digital, do you still find joy in it, or do you think it kind of removes the joy of photography?
no, absolutely. I surprise myself like when I'm reviewing, like, wow, I really love this photo. Yeah, for sure. It requires a little bit of treatment, but yeah, I do love digital as well.
Yeah. And what do you like shooting these days? I guess personally and commercially.
I've been getting more into video. I like the process of telling a story. I like the moving images. I like how you can add blur into videos, like motion. I have a drone now. It's pretty fun
Oh,
flying a
cool.
drone around when I go riding. I've got like a DJI Mini, so I can fit
Hmm.
it in my fanny pack when I go riding. It's pretty sweet. I like it. Yeah. That's what I've been enjoying. I really like shooting photography wise. I really like walking around my neighborhoods, seeing things that I've never seen before. I've lived here for almost 20 years now, and I still see stuff all the time that I've never seen. For that sort of stuff, I use my Hasselblad. And then, yeah, for traveling, I generally use my film camera still. But for the outdoors, it's a little bit of a mix. Been shooting a lot of landscapes and stuff with my digital lately.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's something special about living in a city like San Francisco where you're constantly around so many different kinds of people and everything's moving and changing and yeah, it's special. I'm curious on how that has impacted you versus potentially living somewhere where everything's a little bit more slow.
Yeah, I think about this all the time. Like, what's my next move? Where am I going to end up in life? And I grew up here right outside the city, 15 minutes away. And I've always felt like this is home. This is a very comfortable place for me to live. I enjoy it a lot, but I always have these thoughts in the back of my head of where would I go? And I really love Bellingham. I really love Seattle. I could do Seattle again. Yeah, I've always kind of wondered what life would be like if I lived in the mountains. I would be different, but
Yeah.
could be really happy as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we almost moved to Bellingham, and one of the thoughts in my mind was when you move to a place like that where everybody mountain bikes, everybody does stuff, if it would remove like the specialness of it to me. Because right now I don't get to do it as much, so I really appreciate it when I do. So,
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I could see that. Everyone does ride in Bellingham. It's like the American mecca of mountain biking right now. But there are several, nooks and crannies of the Bellingham area where you could get out on your own and build your own cuddy trail, and not a single human would ever walk by it.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. At what point did you realize that photography was going to be your career? Was there a moment or a job that happened that made you realize you could actually make it?
I don't know. I'm just always striving to be a better photographer in general. I've learned a lot. Before I kind of really took it on, I assisted, and I still do assist every once in a while with friends. You can learn a lot by assisting a photographer and seeing their approach to it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a terrifying job to have because I'm just on my own. It's freelance. You never know when the next check is going to come in or when the next job is going to come in. So you kind of just have to take this leap of faith and just go for it. I think maybe it's partially through BMX is when I started shooting for Dig. I kept getting assignments every issue, or I kept pitching assignments and they were well received. So that was like a very cool feeling, like, oh, like maybe people really do like my work, or maybe people really do like my ideas. So it was encouraging to get that positive feedback from an editor in Ireland when I was 18 years old.
Yeah. How'd you get your foot in the door at Dig?
I was going to school in Seattle, and there was a Northwest issue. One of my first friends in Seattle, a couple friends, were from Vermont, and one's named Tyson Mink, and the other was Seth Holton. And Seth already had been contributing to Dig at the time, and he told me about, it was, I think, issue 45. They were like, "Oh, we if you're down, like you could help contribute." And I shot some film photos of my friend Tyson riding this pool in Queen Anne, and I printed it 8 by 10, sent it in the mail, never got a letter back or anything. And then it came out, and my photo was an ad for their magazine. And I was like, that might have been my first published photo in Dig, at least. In Dig, yeah, that was my first published photo. And I was just like blown away. So that was such a good feeling to have that my very first submission got used.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do you still have that?
But of course, yeah.
Yeah. I've been going through my new phase of BMX, and there's this store called Powers BMX. It's an online store. And they have a bunch of back issues, so I think I'm gonna pick a select few. I wonder if they have that one. I'm gonna write a
I know
note.
Shad has a full collection. You
Oh
should bother
yeah.
him about it if he's got any doubles or triples of stuff.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna see him on Thursday.
Because he used to be a dealer, or he is a dealer, so I think he's got every issue.
Yeah, he probably does have extras.
He's a
Yeah.
collector.
Yeah, he
He
is.
doesn't throw anything out.
I'm going there on Thursday to help him actually set up like a kind of podcast system because
But he'd be great for that. Does he not already
yeah,
have one?
he does, but he uses a so sorry Shad to let the secret out, but he uses a just like a recorder and then he plugs it into I think he records it, then he puts it into Audacity, which is like that old free audio program. Versus this where it's you just send somebody a link, they just log in and you're recording.
Click record and you're good.
Yeah, and the editing makes it is super easy in this program too. So yeah, I'm
Nice.
gonna help him with that because yeah, I think he's gonna talk to some really cool people.
Talk to some really cool people, and he has some incredible knowledge that not many BMXers have.
Yeah, for sure.
He's been a
And I think
fan
it's
since
just
the 80s. So,
yeah, it'll be a good outlet for him and for all of us for sure.
hell yeah. It's good to have him in your community.
Yeah. How about the hardest lesson you've had to learn over the years? I'm sure there's been many.
Probably like life is pretty fragile,
Yeah.
not invincible. Anything can happen at any moment. A lot of
Yeah.
friends pass away.
Yeah, that's rough. My last year my brother passed away in like the most crazy way and it really shook me up and yeah, it shook me up big time. And it also just I think rattled loose all these other things and got diagnosed with depression, started going to therapy and even started taking some medication and it just kind of spiraled. It just set off all these things and yeah, it's been rough. Yeah, I'm right there with you about just yeah, we have to just live and be the best people we can right now, for
For
sure.
sure. Life is so precious, and you got to be your best self.
Yeah, for
Especially
sure.
with this current political climate, you really have to be better and
Yeah.
be above all this shit.
Yeah. I have this phrase that came upon my computer browsing and it's I promise not to let the world pass me by. And that one's like really hitting me hard. I'm gonna make some screens and do some stuff with it just because I like having these days I like having those kind of messages in front of me just as reminders.
For sure.
Yeah, especially when things get tough and especially yeah, working for ourselves, everything is kind of up and down. So just having those little reminders definitely helps for sure.
Yeah. And nothing can really prepare you for death, honestly. Like, you can talk about it all you want, but when it hits you with someone that you truly care about,
Yeah,
it's the worst.
yeah, yeah. It's
But
crazy. Yeah,
it makes you a stronger person at the end.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll have to tell you offline what happened with my brother at some point.
for sure.
But in short, I hadn't seen him in almost a decade. And I visited him in Cambodia for a few days. And yeah, I mean, it's the last time I saw him. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah, still working through it.
Yeah, we all are.
Yeah. Which is, I think, what is so great about, I think, BMX, creativity, photography is having those outlets of expression for us to,
That's what I was gonna say. Like if I didn't have something like BMX, not so much BMX anymore, but with
Yeah.
mountain biking,
Yeah.
it truly saved me. I feel like from
Yeah.
the dark times of depression, grieving of
Yeah.
death.
Totally.
It's just being out in the mountains and getting some fresh air and doing the things that you love. You kind of forget about it when you're in the moment. You have no choice but to be in the moment when you're riding a bike. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, for
what I
sure.
tell other people who are going through it is you got to find your passion and do that
Yeah.
to get through it all.
Yeah. For me, it was running because I had just started getting into running and then the whole thing happened. And I find running to be so painful and really difficult for me. It doesn't come to me naturally. So when I run, it's like really pushing me to be present and to get through it. And yeah, just around the same time, I had another good friend pass away, got hit by a car, and he ended up surviving and recovering. But then there was just some complications down the line, like a year later. And now I think about him and I ask myself, what would he do? Like if I'm on a big backcountry ride and I'm kind of getting in my head or psyching myself out about cougars or something, I always just say like, okay, what would Suko do? So I need to actually, I want to put that on my top tubes so I just have it in front of me. It's a good
Nice.
reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that for sure.
Yeah.
No, it's
You too,
tough.
man.
How about style? I feel like you have a really distinct style. It feels like you have this sense of humanity and organic touch to your photography. I imagine some of that's through using your Hasselblad, but I know how long did it take you to develop your style, and do you feel like you've really figured out your voice, or are you still discovering it?
Yeah, I think it's always work in progress. I think the film look definitely has a touch to it, and I like shooting stuff that's kind of timeless. So that also ties into it. Uh, but yeah, I think it's always work in progress. There's always something to tune in, dial in with my look. But yeah, it's just like I kind of just started showing pictures of what I love and what I care about the most. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But this is what I like to do. So I just kind of went with that.
Yeah. And so as far as getting hired for shoots, do you just lean with your the work that you're most proud of, or do you have separate kind of
Yeah, it
private
depends. Like
web
depends
pages?
on the job, right? Because like
Yeah.
they'll hire you for what type of look you are, but they also want to know like technically like how can you execute to plan.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to have a show of work to show them like, hey, like I can do like corporate executive headshots or like I
Yeah.
can shoot tabletop product shots. So that might not go along with the Hasselblad timeless look, but
Yeah.
how to do it.
Yeah, for sure. How are you thinking about the future of photography with AI and I guess shrinking budgets? I know most brands who like the smart brands and the brands who are are thinking 10, 20 years ahead, I believe they are betting on real people doing real work because AI is just going to end up being a bunch of slop and it's going to be more of the same. Yeah, I'm just wondering where your head is with all of that.
Yeah, there's definitely something to it. I live in AI world. I've been on many jobs at ChatGPT, and it's scary how much money is coming in with that line. And I get it. But with photography, I think all the product stuff, all non-human related photography is probably going to get taken over by AIs. If you can come up with a concept, give AI a prompt, you can get it going. And there's that, but I feel like the current generation, Gen Z, they don't really care about image quality as much as we do growing up. And then the generation behind us, they cared even more about the quality of each individual photo and each video. So I think it just happens to be like the current state of things. It's like it's a mix of everything. It's like, yes, computers are getting smarter, but also the people just don't care enough to even point out that this human has 6 fingers or this bottle of Patron has 2 caps on it. It's just not as much of a deal breaker for them as it is maybe for
Yeah.
us.
At the same time, I think there's a lot of Gen Z people or Gen Z folks who are longing for more tangible things. Because you see, I feel like they're dressing like how we dressed in the 90s, like when I
Totally,
was in middle school,
for
and
sure.
like zines and magazines and CD players.
Going lo-fi.
So,
Like some of the kids I see are using like
yeah,
old Sony Cybershot cameras from when we were in high school.
yeah,
Like that's like the look now for TikToking is like using an ancient shitty digital camera. And I love that.
yeah. Hot take.
Walkmans.
Gen
Yeah,
Z
it's
might
cool.
save us.
It's cool. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I think AI has its place, but I don't think it has its place forever. We live with
Yeah,
too many humans that need a job to live their lives. And if AI takes over all these jobs, then what are all these humans going to do?
yeah. I've seen some really good examples of AI used in commercial work, and I've seen some horrific ones.
Same.
There's a company locally, I'm not going to name them, but it's a company locally who makes these really a really amazing, thoughtful product that is, a leader in its category and innovation, and they're working with local manufacturers and all of that, and then they put out this really cheesy AI made ad that was just a simple prompt in ChatGPT, you know, and they're running with it. It's still going.
Bet.
I've seen it on billboards, and it just blows my mind because in my opinion, it completely discredits the company in my mind because on their website they talk about not taking any shortcuts, and here you go, you're sharing your new product, and yeah, you just cut a lot of corners. So
Yeah, I think I'm proud of all the actors in Hollywood for holding out and not selling them their identity for AI because that would have been a slippery slope if they had. And then normal people who don't really need to be in a commercial, they could also be taken. So I think the AI stuff with humans will probably take a little bit longer. However, I did enjoy that South Park episode of the deep fake of Trump walking through the desert getting naked. I thought that was a really,
yeah,
really, really good use
yeah,
of that.
that is a good use case, and it was parody and comedy, and yeah, it was great.
Trump can't do anything about it. That's just it's going to
Yeah,
live on the internet forever, and that's just the way it is.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I use ChatGPT a lot to help me as an assistant. I think the most powerful way I can use it is, for example, when I started this podcast, I opened up a ChatGPT thread and basically just talked to it about what I tried to do, my concept, and it just kind of helped me organize my thoughts into a structure that I could carry over to a Google Doc. And so I have like a more of a living Google Doc now that I can use where I'm just, tracking my mission and where I'm trying to take things. So for that, it's been super helpful.
Seems like a good use for that.
Yeah. Have you dipped your toes into that sort of thing yet?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
I have my AI settings on for Google. So like when I just ask questions, like when I'm currently editing a video right now, and I'll ask like, how do you enlarge a graphic without it being
Yeah.
pixelated on Premiere Pro? And it just gives me like
Yeah.
a quick summary of how to do it.
Yeah.
And boom, like I just learned how to do it 10 seconds and
Yeah.
stop for that.
Exactly. I love that for, yeah, just little shortcuts instead of asking. I guess you're using Google, but ChatGPT is essentially a search engine, which is great. And if it could remove all the little tasks that you don't want to be doing, which it would be kind of nice as well.
I don't like the environmental impact on AI. I don't think it should be
Yeah.
using purified water and all this electricity to be running it. Hopefully, they'll be able to
Yeah.
sort that out in the coming years. Doesn't seem like climate's on really anyone's agenda right now.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's really thinking about that right now. Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah, I guess like what's next with your photography? Do you have any dream clients you want to work for? Any dream work you want to do? I know you did that really cool project with Hans, right? Hans
Yeah,
Ray.
Hans Ray. Yeah, that was a cool one. I was kind of blown away. Mike at MASH referred me. And the next thing you know, like not even 5 minutes later, Hans Ray is calling me on my phone. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Hans Ray is calling me. He's like, hey, I'm in San Francisco. I'm scouting for like a 7 day urban ride with Brett Tippy and some others might come. We were wondering if you could show us around slash shoot stills for this film. We'd really appreciate it. And I was like, yeah, like, let me show you my work. And he's like, cool, cool. But let me meet you. Like, I don't know how, like, you're just a stranger. Let me meet you. He's like, I'm in the city right now. Can we meet up? Like, right now? I'm like, right now? Okay. And I just go ride my BMX 5 minutes over to the De Young Museum and meet up with them and sat down and had a coffee with him for 20 minutes. And I was in.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was insane. It was such a cool experience. I ended up sharing a room with Brett Tippy, and that guy is a character, man.
Oh man,
So many good
he is.
stories. He's got so much energy. We'd be out riding and shooting 10 hours, and then we get back to the hotel, eat dinner, and we had e-bikes. And he's like, do you want to go riding? Like, it's like, I don't know, man. I'm beat. Like, I need some sleep. We're getting up at 6 tomorrow. Like, I'm done. He's like, you don't want to show me around and show me the cuddy trails? I'm like, I do, but like, I kind of don't at the same time. I'm exhausted. He like,
Yeah,
he was constantly editing and like working on stuff when I'd be in bed, like and outside, so he wouldn't wake me up. He's a character, man. He's lived a crazy life.
yeah. I met him in at the Coast Gravity Park. I was on a solo trip. It might have been that same trip that we met on, but
Really?
yeah, I went to Coast Gravity Park by myself in that Jetta. And I show up in my short shorts, no knee pads, clipless shoes, and yeah, I'm sure enough I'm, sitting on the shuttle truck with Brett Tippy. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was great.
I remember those days. You had a roof rack with a Santa Cruz 5010,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
black
that
one.
was great.
Yeah, short
I thought
travel.
I would never drive, you know, and then I moved to Portland and I had to get a license.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've done like I feel like travel is a big part of your life. How did
it's
that come
definitely
about?
inspiring. Yeah, I agree. I'd love to travel. I should get out more. I've been lucky enough to travel on some jobs in the past couple of years of places that I would never go to. I went to the U.S. Virgin Islands last year. I went to Merida, Mexico, which was really special. Went out to the East Coast, like Martha's Vineyard, for a week. Yeah, it just brings you to all these places and it's super inspiring to check out. I really love going to places that aren't like home. That's my
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah, it keeps you inspired. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
curious about do you ever have creative block or how do you find inspiration? Stay curious.
Yeah, I do definitely get creative. I just get burnt out on things. Seems like mountain biking generally kind of refreshes me. Going out on a ride and kind of gets me psyched up again. It's summertime here and it's really dry, but I'm fortunate to have a few places that I know of that stay pretty good in the summer with all the fog. We were having the foggiest summer in San Francisco in 30 years right now, and like Pacifica and a little bit further south in Half Moon Bay have stayed pretty wet, and a couple places on the coast in Marin stayed pretty wet all summer. So it's really inspiring to go there and remember what it's like to ride with grip.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's pretty dusty over here, for
Yeah.
sure. How about work-life balance? Do you feel like you have that dialed in, or are you constantly thinking
No,
about work?
it's definitely not.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part about working freelance is like you're the one that tells you that you need to start working again or go back to work or
Hmm.
finish this edit or send out this proposal. Like it's all on you. There's no one telling you you need to be catching up or submitting more work. So yeah, it's been a struggle for me. Sometimes I'm very motivated. I usually, you know what? Usually I work in binges. So I'll just like go on a work bender and just work like 80 hours in a week and then the next week I won't even think about work. So it's just like it's on or it's off. It's like hard to have like, oh, I'll just work on this edit for 3 hours and then I'll go on this 1 hour ride. Like that never happens. I just like stay focused when I'm focused, and then when I'm not, I'm not.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Do you pitch a lot and send in proposals?
Every once in a while, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's part of the
Yeah.
part of the game. You have to.
And how about print? Are you still doing things for print, magazines or anything like that?
Nothing's come through work-wise, but creatively on my own, I'm gearing up to make another zine right now,
Hell
just
yeah.
film photos, yeah, from the summer.
Sick. I'm getting pretty hyped about trying to do a magazine or something again.
Let's bring it
Like,
back, Chris. Let's
dude,
go.
I think the time is now.
Yeah, man, let's
I
do
think
it.
people want magazines, and so yeah, I think it's never been better time to do it.
It's a niche and they're expensive as hell to make and it's a lot of work, but every fucking time it's worth it.
Yeah, for sure. My
It brings
buddy runs
people
a
together.
store.
It's great. I love it.
My buddy runs a store in Seattle called Winthrow. Have you heard of it? Yeah, his podcast is dropping. I mean, by the time this comes out, it'll already be out. But it's called Winthrow, and it's this little outdoor store in Seattle. I'm not sure what the neighborhood is, but it's really cool. And it's just this super curated space. It's really awesome. And he's done a really good job about just bringing in all these really cool brands. And I went into his shop, and he has this whole table of magazines. God, I probably spent a couple $100s on magazines that day just
Nice.
to kind of get some, and
They're
some
so
are
special.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah,
And they're very special.
I love that.
When I lived in New York, I had quite a collection of magazines. And then when I moved to Portland, I actually just got rid of them all, which I'm kind of bummed about, but there is something nice about just
Like you
cleansing
purged them, you
myself.
just threw them out?
No, I ended up selling a lot of them because
Okay.
I had like collections.
Uh-huh.
And it was mainly just because I moved so much and I just
It's
having to
such a
carry
pain
them
in the ass to
around.
move. Yeah, books,
Yeah.
magazines, records are a terrible thing to move.
Yeah. And the way we moved from New York, we literally shipped our small boxes at UPS, and we had to use
Individually, you didn't like
our laundry cart to bring them over. It was just like, classic New York thing, carrying the small boxes to
you're like, why am
UPS,
I
like over.
doing this to myself?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, let's get rid of the magazines. And yeah, I still have a few special ones,
I
but
have a bookshelf 3 feet to my right now, just filled with magazines. Can't
yeah.
throw them
Yeah.
out.
Are there any recommendations for some books or magazines you recommend for people to check out?
Color Skateboard magazine was definitely a huge influence on my life. And it's even more special because I randomly met the editor, who was my friend's neighbor on Salt Spring Island when I was staying up there. And I've been staying in touch with him ever since. And he's still a huge inspiration to me today, even though he no longer shoots.
Color magazine
Color Magazine's
looks
a
like a
skateboard magazine based out of Vancouver that was big in the
cool.
2000s.
Looks like it closed.
Yeah, it's done. Hamburger
Yeah.
Eyes is a local, well, it used to be local, San Francisco film, black and white zine. Now he moved down to LA about 5 or 6 years ago, but they still come out with an issue every 2 months. That's a good one to check out if you're into film photography.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do something, man.
I would
Let's
love
make it
to.
more
I would love to.
collaborative this time because I feel like with Broken Coastal was very much me just dictating a thing, but it'd be cool to bring on a few more folks and actually make it more of a collaboration where we can really just build our own thing together.
That sounds like a plan.
Hell yeah. We're gonna do it.
We should just go big too and just make it a bigger format. I would love to see like a
Yes.
larger scale of images.
Yes.
You put so much
Yeah.
time into the design and the graphics that you got to show it off. If it's like this 4x6, 8x10 folded in two, it's great. You know, we're older now. We're a little more refined. We can do better.
Yeah, there's this company or this magazine called Mental Athletic,
Hmm.
and it's huge, it's massive, and it's thick. I wonder if the key is potentially just getting it printed overseas
Yeah, a little cheaper and
to
just
cut
do like
down
a
the
big.
costs. I imagine, with tariffs, I mean, maybe it's a wash, but yeah, printing is definitely the hardest part. Is just it's really expensive.
Yeah, it'd be fun to go like to Japan and
Yes.
check out all of the print work that they do because they're keen on it. Like they're still holding it
Yeah.
down. They're not
Yeah.
backing down from print. They still love it.
There's this magazine called Ollie Magazine. It's a Japanese magazine, and it's fashion, skate, I think they even have some BMX in there. I think it's still a magazine. But every time I would go to Thailand, I'd be able to get it. Yeah, it's called Ollie. I think it's still
Check
around.
it out.
Yeah, it's super cool. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
even
talking with a buddy who went to China recently, and they're having this, cycling out there is just booming. And so I was like, damn, there's probably an opportunity to do a legit magazine that would blow up in Asia, I think.
I think so. Or
Yeah.
Taiwan,
Yeah.
because bike riding's huge in Taiwan right now.
Yeah. I would love to go back out there and just travel and bring the BMX now.
Have you been
That'd be
out to
sweet.
Japan?
I haven't. It's on my list.
Yeah,
Doi
same.
went last year. And yeah, I want to go so bad for, the culture, fashion, cycling. Yeah, just everything.
Yeah, it's just so different. That's the type of place I would enjoy the most.
Yeah. Yeah. And you just come back so inspired.
It's kind of cheap to go there right now too.
All right. We're going to brainstorm some stuff after this and make some stuff happen.
Let's fucking do it.
Hell yeah. This is what's cool about BMX is I don't know, there's something about BMXers who are just down to go make things and do things, you know?
There's just like this like-mindedness that you can find in every
Yeah.
BMXer. Like they could be so different than you, but you can like be best friends with them because you ride this BMX bike. It's so weird how that
Yeah.
works. Like I was
Yeah.
just at the Truckee Bike Park and made friends with like an 8-year-old kid who was just learning how to ride, and then a guy who's like my age who like couldn't get through this line, so it's kind of helping him through it. It's just like this camaraderie. It's just like this instant bond that you have
Yeah.
with random ass people.
Yeah. I'll probably say this a million times on this podcast, but I spent some time with a coach and BMX came up so much in our conversations because it really is the root of everything. BMX, yeah, the friendships form, the community, the DIY of building events and, doing a magazine and hitting up sponsors, all of it was all through BMX.
That and the feeling you get from riding one of these stupid little
Yeah.
bikes is unlike anything in the world. Like my girlfriend was at the dirt jumps with me, and I was like, this is still so much fun for me. I love this. I will
Yeah.
never not love this. Like if my body could keep doing it, I still would, but I rarely ride these days. Just makes me
Yeah.
so happy to ride that thing.
Yeah, I normally keep my BMX bike in my office now just because I like seeing it around me. I'm
Yeah,
like so hyped on it. I got this 22-inch
saw that.
S&M. Yeah, I'm hyped. I got some fly hubs next to me that I'm gonna get laced up this week because there's something about me having those thick 14 millimeter axles stick out. I'm like, "Oh, I can't do this.
You gotta hack those
I need
things.
that flush. Yeah, those
Totally. We've
flush
all had
hubs.
those scary moments where your leg almost gets ripped off from taking your foot off and slicing that excess
Yeah.
axle. Did you ever
I
ride
mean,
that 24-inch Sunday?
no, no, I haven't.
I rode that one around. My buddy Struthers had one, and I didn't love it. It felt like the bottom bracket was like way too high. But so I bet the 22 would make a lot more sense coming from mountain
Yeah,
bikes.
it's not as big of a jump. Last year I built a 20-inch and I was able to get through the big line at Gateway Green, but going from mountain biking to the BMX and back and forth was so difficult for me and I just felt uncomfortable and I wanted to give BMX one more shot before getting into dirt jumper and I'm glad I did because the 22 it's
That's what
slacker, it's longer, it feels I can just head out the door and carve and I don't feel like I'm going to flip over the bars. It's great.
yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about BMX is like it's so precise. If you case, it hurts. If you
Oh yeah.
overshoot, you can't clear the next jump. Like you got to be on it. A
Yeah.
dirt jumper is a lot more forgiving.
Oh yeah. Dirt jumping is easy
But
for sure.
when you really hit that sweet spot on a landing on a BMX,
Yeah.
especially like a spine, it's like there's nothing even comes
Yeah.
close.
You got to come through to Gateway Green. Wednesdays are the kind of old man session, and there's a good line. Brian Barnhart has been holding it down with some killer lips, and yeah, it's great.
Is he the guy out there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of people, but most of the lips were all shaped by Brian, and he just has that gift.
Well, he's
They're
from PA.
intimidating to me because they're tall and big, but they're just so smooth.
Brian learned from the best.
Yeah, definitely. Are you? Are you coming out to the Made bike show?
When is it? It's coming up.
It's in like 2.5 weeks. You should try to make it out if you can.
Maybe I'm
You can
going to
definitely crash at
Mammoth.
my spot.
Okay. I'm going to Mammoth next weekend, but maybe.
Cool. And before we go, just wanted to ask you my closing question,
Yes.
which is a special one to me because it's really just leaving people with a gift of inspiration. And what's one belief that really anchors you in your life or work that you want people to hear?
Just be yourself. Don't try to be anyone else beside yourself. Whether that's working on yourself to be who you want to be, but be true to who you are for others to see, because people don't buy into this fake persona. Like, they see right through it. And it's obviously not an easy thing to do, but you can work your way into it and just be yourself and don't care what other people think.
Yeah. To build upon that, do you have any advice for people who are scared to be themselves? Because I think a lot of us are, you know?
Absolutely, myself included. It just takes time. Really. You just gotta
Yeah.
takes time, and it takes a lot of failure.
Yeah.
You need failure to improve. You don't learn from your victories, you learn from your losses.
Yeah. Yeah. Failure and vulnerability for me has been a big one. And this podcast was a big part of that process for me about being vulnerable because I love having these conversations, but there's this fear in me about sounding stupid and saying dumb stuff. And every episode I do, but it's about just being vulnerable and just being okay with it for me. So
I wanna call something out, Chris. I love your newsletters. You keep
thanks.
going, and you don't it doesn't really you're just writing for yourself, but for others to read
Yeah.
too. But it seems like I hear your voice in your writing, and I can tell that you're just doing it because you wanna do it, and it doesn't,
Yeah.
any feedback you don't really need. You're just doing it because you wanna
Yeah.
do it, and that goes a
Yeah.
long way with me.
I appreciate that. And again, that comes through that coaching and just, yeah, embracing that vulnerability of just putting yourself out there and just really celebrating those failures, like you mentioned, and just, yeah, owning it and just growing from it.
Yeah, you gotta roll
So,
with the punches. They're gonna come.
yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
And that's our show for today. If you like this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a friend. It all really helps out. If you have any questions about creativity, process, or anything we talked about, please drop a comment. I'd love to hear from you. You can follow along at Broken Coastal on Instagram and YouTube. Subscribe to my newsletter. It's a weekly dose of inspiration at the intersection of design and outdoors. Thanks for being here.